Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Are you able to hear my voice now?
Yes, Krish, now we are able to hear, but we were not able to hear before.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I haven't explained anything. I'm just copying the code. Just copy the whole code.
Krish?
Yeah.
First line, whatever that for, where are we using it?
In the sense?
Yeah, we should we assign that gives an object, right?
This will be loaded into the memory. The object was available in the memory for driver class. So the driver manager will verify is there any driver available within the memory, and it has the capability of fetching the instance from the memory, and it will make use of that to get the connection for that.
So is driver
internally used by exactly driver manager internally searches like is there any driver available in the memory or not.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's internal implementation. Okay, now we don't want to execute with respect to create statement. Change this one to connection dot prepare statement. The prepare statement accepts a parameter which is your SQL. So just move your SQL to the top. So take this in terms of prepare statement. Now no need to pass SQL query at this level. And here with respect to statement you can see that there are so many set methods available. If you take a look at the method syntax, set blob, set character, set glob, set cursor, set date, set integer, float. So we know what kind of information that we are trying to send to the query. So currently our employee ID is of type integer. So I don't want to pass the data. I don't want to pass the data with respect to my SQL query as a static input. And I want to send the data dynamically. So currently I know at this point what I'm doing, instead of specifying 100, I'm specifying a question mark. The question mark will be replaced by the parameters whatever that you are setting with respect to your prepared statement. To set the parameters with respect to the prepared statement, you have plenty of methods based on your data types. These data types are from the database. So you can see that binary, blob, and glob. Blob and glob, if you guys are database aware of that, so those are related to just like blob and glob, which holds a lot of information. It stores like an XML information, or a long strings will be specified normally within blobs or globs. So in our case, we know that we want to pass integer, and the integer accepts, the set method accepts two parameters. The first one is parameter index. The parameter index is where you want to insert the parameter, or which question mark corresponding to the parameter. So currently, I guess it will start from 1, but not from 0. But if I got an error, then I will change. And after that, you want to pass, let us say I want to pass 216 or 210. So the first one specifies the position where we want to insert the value within the query. See, my query consists of where employee ID equal to 100 and also employee first name equal to one more question mark, which means I can pass set string one more. So here the position is second and I want to pass the name as 210. Employee first name is Singh. So I can pass like this. So the first parameter specifies where exactly in the SQL query we need to insert this value. So currently I want the first question mark to be replaced with 210 and the second question mark to be replaced with Singh. So this is how normally you will pass the dynamic data. So you will get the information from some other method and you will pass the information to this one. So the data will be passed dynamically to your database.
You're doing that execute query.
Yeah, execute query we can do. This is a select query, no issues. No value specified for parameter. I'm sorry. No value specified for parameter 1. I guess it will start with 0 index. What happened? Did we mention something wrong? Select star from.
The setting should be before the result set execute query.
Oh, yeah, yeah, correct. Thanks, Vijay. Well, let me take a look at the index also. Yeah, this will start from 1 to, but not from 0. Oh yeah, correct. Yep, thanks, Jitin. This is my mistake. Normally, you are supposed to set the parameter. So while we are executing the query, so it couldn't find the parameters that are set for this query. That's why it is complaining previously. Now I just moved the statement before so that I have set the parameters first and then I'm executing the query. That's a fault previously. And the index, it's not just like the array index, it starts from 1 to infinity. So there is no 0 index. So by using prepare statement, you can see that I'm able to execute the query and I can set the parameters dynamically. And still I'm retrieving the information by using result set only because I'm calling the select query. That's the reason I'm using execute query method. We'll take a look at the remaining methods in next class. In the next class that I'm going to create. So let us create MySQL update query. Copy the same code again. So this time I'm going to write an update statement. Update employee where employee ID equal to, normally we'll do the updates based on primary keys. set will change the salary value, salary equal to
oil family. The new. Vinegar.
so here the first parameter is salary now, which means I need to pass. Currently salary was with the string representation in the database, 6,000, or let me verify the database representation. The next one is set integer. Here I'm supposed to pass an integer value. Let us update the value for 205, where employee ID equal to 205. So previously it was 1700. I'm trying to update this to 6000. So whenever we are using update statement, go and use execute update method. So the return value will be an integer number of rows that got updated. So we don't need any result set. So we have changed the SQL query, and after that we are anyway using prepare statement because I want to pass the data dynamically, and after that I am calling execute update method, which will perform the update operation, and finally I'm seeing how many number of rows got updated. Let us see. Number of rows got updated 1. So here you can see that the value got updated to 6000. But if you guys remember, here we are not using commit or rollback method kind of strategy. Normally when you go for command prompt or some other database workbench or some other database clients, you are supposed to externally call the commit or rollback method. So even with Java also, it has the capability of calling the commit or rollback explicitly, and for that purpose, in normal cases, the commit, by default, it's in auto mode, which means once after executing any kind of queries, it will automatically call the commit to the database, which means committing the statement execution to the database. If you want to change the default behavior, I guess there is a method. Sorry. Connection dot set auto commit. You can change this value to false, which means it won't commit the data until you call explicitly the commit method. So if at all, if you are working on a transaction kind of stuff, let us say you are working on 2-3 tables at a time and you want to perform like an atomic operation. So that means you don't want to commit at each and every statement execution, then you will go for this kind of mechanism and you will do the commit only after executing the 3 statements, and you'll write the commit statement or commit at that time, or else, yeah, by default auto commit is true, Jitin. If at all, if you want to call the rollback, I guess that's also a method available. Yeah, rollback method was also available. You can just make use of that as well. But make sure that for committing, when you call connection.commit, and if there are no statements for committing to the database, then it will throw an exception. So you should handle that one. Yeah, you can put the connection dot close method in finally block. Yeah, normally that's a suggestible way. But when you are writing connection dot close, your connection object should be outside your try block. The connection dot close itself will throw an exception, SQL exception. So handle that one as well within your finally block. Write one more class for seeing execute method. Yeah.
What is that command you enter to import the packages?
Oh, it by default imported. I didn't use any import statement. When I'm no, I didn't do anything. When I did Control V, it's automatically importing the class files.
Oh, Control V.
Yeah, just for copy paste. I did only copy and then paste. Automatically, Eclipse has imported the class files for me.
Krish, not now, Krish, but when we get an exception,
Okay.
You click on something which will import the package automatically. Meaning when you were writing the first class, MySQL JDBC connection.java, whenever you get an exception, you you select something and then that automatically rectifies the error.
Okay.
So how do you do that? Even I had that question. Vijay, am I right? That's what you were asking?
Yeah. Remember, for sysout, you say sysout and say control enter. It automatically puts the everything in the same.
Whenever there is an error occurred, Eclipse will suggest you, if at all, if there is an error, let us say I'm changing this to SQL exception. So here you see that there is an exception here, there is an error here. Eclipse has specified 3 options to me. I have selected surround with try catch. Okay.
Okay, Krish. Krish, also you get some explanation about the method you are using. What is the return type and all those things? For some methods when you use, how do you get that? I never get that. I try to, how do I tell you?
You just move the cursor onto the method, it will show you.
Okay, Krish.
Execute, I'm using, instead of using execute query, I'm only using execute method. I am passing the SQL there, which will return a Boolean execute status. So now what I will do is I'll verify if execute status is true. If execute status is true, then I will retrieve all the information get result set. So if at all, if the execute status is false, that means I'm not at all using, it won't return anything. Let us go and execute this first case, then we'll see the remaining options. You can see that the current case, let me print the status also here. execute status is true and the employee ID value has retrieved properly. Let us take 101, which is not available in our database. Just a second. Probably I might have explained wrongly. The next method is get update count. But the reason why it has returned a true value. Returns true if the result is a result set object, false if it is an update count or there are no results. Yeah.
Give a wrong query, Krish.
Oh yeah, actually this should return the value as false. Here we can see that true if the first result is a result set object or false if it is an update count or there are no results. So currently we don't have any results, so that means it should return as false only. Yeah, we won't get any data. Let me change this to update statement and we'll check based on that. Update employee set salary equal to question mark where employee ID equal to 100. So let us say 101. Yeah, here it has returned the value as false. True if the first result is a result set object. False if it is an update count, that is fine, or there are no results. Okay, anyway, I'll dig about this, why it is returning as true, because the API says that if there are no results also, it should return as false. I'll dig about that case and I'll let you know, guys. But normally, if at all, if you're not sure about the execution, here you can see that if execute status, based on that, you can decide whether it is a result set or not. If it is not a result set, you can go for else clause and retrieve statement dot get update count, which specifies how many number of rows got updated. So this is the purpose actually we have used for execute update query. So our execute method performs both the operations, and the next thing is you can execute a batch statement with respect to your SQL. Batch statement is nothing but, let us say you want to execute a job, or you want to execute a logging kind of stuff. So that means from your Java, you want to save some kind of logs for your program or for the client request. So taking a connection for each and every log message from the database is like a heavy weight. You are supposed to send the information across the network, and you are supposed to get the connection, and you need to hold the connection until that point of time. So instead of that, what you can do is our JDBC has the capability of storing 5 or 10 messages. You can specify how many number of statements you want to execute as a batch. So your your JDBC has the capability of storing those commands, and once after you just put a for loop or any kind of mechanism, and once after that you can just call the execute batch, I guess. No. You can see that there is a method called execute batch. You can call this execute batch method, which will execute all the statements at a single shot instead of executing each and every query with the database. Normally, this is not used, but at times like when we are writing the data to the database, or when we are writing the logs to the database, in those cases only we'll make use of execute batch to avoid heavyweight usage of the connection. But at any point of time, logging kind of stuff, nobody prefers, or the architects, they won't prefer to write the logs to the database because it's just like a heavyweight, and they want a separate thread to process that, or else they'll make use of some external logging mechanism, which is log4j, to write the logs to the file or to the database. But anyway, JDBC itself was not a preferred kind of mechanism, but just to understand, or when we move to Hibernate, everything will be done with respect to objects, but internally Hibernate will do all the stuff with respect to the native JDBC. So we need to understand how Hibernate internally works and how Hibernate will perform all these operations, like execute query or execute update, or executing them in a batch format or any other mechanism. Oh yeah, exactly, Adil. Here, one more thing is, let me go to, yeah, this is execute method. So here, prepare statement we are using to send the data dynamically, and we have mentioned that there is one another, which is callable statement. And callable statement, you can see that string SQL, this also accepts a string SQL, but here the string SQL will just like call, prop name, and then pass the parameters. You need to create a procedure and then use the syntax, and then the return type will be the prepare call. The return type will be callable statement. Take that in callable statement. And you guys know already how to pass the parameters. What is the error? By mistake, I have imported com.mysql.jdbc. Call statement dot set. You can see that set methods, same way whatever that you have used for the prepare call. So just make use of that, and then call statement dot execute. Finally, call the execute method, which will execute the procedure and returns the result based on your procedure result. Execute batch is used to execute a number of SQL statements at a single shot. Instead of executing one by one statement to the database, see, when you are executing a single statement means you are sending the data across the network and you are using all the resources from this level and this level. So some kind of logging mechanism or batch process kind of stuff, it's not required for us to send each and every query to the database, or each and every, we are supposed to send all the queries to the database, but it's not required, and we won't be bothered if at all if there is a delay in sending the request to the SQL server. So at that time, what we'll do is we'll create a batch nothing but a bunch of SQL statements which are executed at a single shot, just like your procedure will do, executing all the SQL statements within your procedure code. In the same way, your batch, which consists of a bunch of statements, the execute batch command will send all the SQL statements at a single shot and executes with respect to your SQL server.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2Kinfosys.com. On our website H2Kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.